I'm Quincy Heard, head men's and women's golf coach at Alabama State University. The very first time I wanted to pick up a game of golf was on my 21st birthday, looking for something to do that I'd never done before. And being in the military, I was able to do some things there that you normally do on your 21st birthday. And golf was something that I had thought about for a long time and just took that opportunity to try golf and see what it's all about. When I was 9 years old, I was riding my bicycle down Narrow Lane Road, and I came to a break in the fence in the hedge, and I saw all of this green grass to my left. And being used to Oaks Park in the summertime, where the grass was always brown, it was something that I'd never seen in Alabama in this time of year. And so I got off my bicycle and started looking through the fence, and I saw these guys high-fiving and laughing and having a good time, but I didn't know what they were doing. And I saw these really cool-looking vehicles, golf cars, and they were jumping in them, and I was just infatuated and just trying to figure out what it was. And then one of those funny-looking cars started coming toward me, and I was like, okay, this is great. And cart pulls up and he says, "What are you doing, boy?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking through the fence." "What is that?" "Well, that's none of your business." I go, "Well, what do you mean?" Is it a park? Is it, looks like everyone's having fun. I mean, I might want to try that sometime. And I've never seen grass this green during the summer. What is it? And his response was, "Look, boy, don't you cause me any trouble." And for me, those were the words that I needed to hear that said it's time to leave and go back to my side of town. Well, the game of golf will give you exactly what you put into it. And my utopia is that the game doesn't care what your pedigree is. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care what your equipment looks like. It doesn't care about any of that. It only cares about the effort that you put into it and how good you are at repeating your process and managing yourself for the 4 to 5 hours that you're on the golf course. And for me, the game is such a challenge that when I do get to spend time with people on the golf course, you get to see their true sense of being, how they respond under pressure, under situations that they're not familiar with, or when they have frustrations. You get to see that, and it comes out readily on the golf course. And in my last 20 years working with juniors on the golf course, I've learned so much from them just because they get on the golf course and they relax and they tell you everything. And so for me, that is my utopia. That's where I get a chance to walk with the little angels on earth, and I have my talks, with Jesus, and that's where I tell him all of my troubles. And by the time I'm done, I'm usually in a very good place. It touches so many different facets of life. There's almost no industry in the United States that doesn't have some association with golf, whether it's just the CEO or the CFO, someone that enjoys playing, and they go out with their buddies, other CEOs, and they talk about business. I prefer to have my staff meetings on the golf course. That's where I'm most creative. And so the game is one of those 2 corporate sports, or 3 if you will, racquetball, squash, tennis, golf. Those are the things that are commonly associated with the white-collar jobs and how things get done in the United States. I mean, if you take a club like Augusta National and you look at the members of it, they're all Fortune 500 CEOs. So if you believe that there aren't conversations about business happening at that golf course or that golf club, you're sorely mistaken. Well, September 17th, I went to Portland, Oregon to report to my ship, which was in the dry docks. September 18th, I woke up, I opened my hotel room window, and the first thing I saw was Mount Hood, which is about a 11,000-foot mountain, snow-covered, absolutely gorgeous. And I remember going down to the front desk, and I asked the clerk, "Hey, what is that out there?" And he told me. He said, "Well, if you go around the building, you'll see Mount St. Helens." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's the volcano that erupted?" He said, "Yes." And I got to see it. And later that day, I got to drive through the city of Portland and see it on a fall day, which is the best time of year there. And I fell in love with the landscape and with the people and the community there. And when I finally called my mother to let her know I'd made it safely, I said, "I love you very much, but I don't ever plan on coming back to Alabama." And it was kind of funny because there was like a clap of thunder that I thought I heard, but I think now it was more laughter. My wife and I, both of our parents are aging, and not even a year before this opportunity presented itself, we had a really serious conversation. It's like, okay, our parents are aging, they're 3,000 miles apart. How can we best position ourselves so that we can be there for them? And the opportunity came about to do this position and be here with my parents. And my wife, bless her heart, she's been fully supportive, and she said, it's about time that I really kind of spread my wings and go see how far I can go as a coach. That was probably one of the most challenging professional experiences that I've had. Owning a nonprofit, running a nonprofit, I was very guarded with public opinions or public statements, and I was very reluctant to get out there. And I talked with almost everyone that was on that piece before we did it and say, hey, I got this, did you get this? And as we started sharing it, it was really Renee Powell and Robert Clark that really gave me the confidence, or said, look, you're in the position for a reason. You have the platform, you have the microphone. Do not be afraid. Say what you want to say. And it took some. I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's just, I don't like to talk about myself all that much. I just like to do what I do, and if you recognize it, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter to me, because my reward is knowing that I made an impact, or I made a difference in someone's life. And at the end of my days, when I'm standing before my master on Judgment Day, I want him to say, job well done, son. For the last 2 decades, I've been working with juniors and sending them off to college, and have been very, very privileged and honored to watch them grow and into doctors and attorneys, and have their own financial management companies, and then see a select few play at every level of professional golf that we have. It was my biggest pride and joy is when they call and say, hey, Mr. Heard, guess what? And then they tell me what's going on, or I get an invitation to a christening or to a baptism of their children, and or in some cases where I've actually gotten a chance to teach the children of the children that I've taught. And just to do that is just, it's such a privilege and a blessing. Well, today there's over 29,000 members and associates in the PGA of America. And of that number, 165 are black as far as members and associates. Membership-wise, there's only 105. And the journey to become a PGA professional, as my mentor, our assistant coach, Robert Clark, said, is more than an ocean. If you look at the game of golf like a cup of coffee, and you pour the coffee and you have some grounds that are kind of at the bottom, those are people that play golf once, twice a year, very irregularly, or coffee makes up the coffee makes up the bulk of people that are playing. You pour in cream and it rises to the top. Well, that little layer of cream are club professionals like myself and a select group of amateurs. And then if you sprinkle cinnamon on top of that, those are the ones that you see on television. So there's not a lot of room for professionals, and it's not an easy thing to do. If so, there would be a lot more of them. And fast forward to 2020, we are one of 10 programs in the entire nation that has 2 PGA professionals associated with the program, and that just goes even further to prove the commitment that we have to winning and pursuing a national championship. Well, Alabama State, to me, I've known it since I was in the womb, and being a Hornet was something that I thought I would always want to do. And when it came time to make a decision to go to college, I chose a different college for a different reason, in pursuit of a musical career. The opportunity to come back to my hometown and share my love for the game with this community was an opportunity that I just could not pass up. And I've been a firm believer and a dreamer of doing the unexpected. Me becoming a PGA professional and not even starting until I was the first round of golf till 21, and then really not even getting serious about the game until I was 27. To become a PGA professional, that's just unheard of at that point in time. with no amateur experience. I believe in when people tell me that I can't do something, that, okay, let me prove to you that I can. And why Alabama State? Because we are ripe for new things to happen. We have a unique time in history where we can do something that most people will never give us an opportunity or even think that we're capable of, and I like those odds. It just brings out the fighter in me that says, you know what, just stay tuned. You don't have to believe me, but you will have to respect me at the end of this. I'm Quincy Heard, and that's my story.